Hi, guys. Welcome to weekly travel updates. I'm already not liking this virtual screen very good, but we'll use it this week. I'm Melinda Fargus, and I own Action Travel down in Mebane, North Carolina. And we're excited because wave season just keeps going on and on. There's all kinds of deals. Probably one of the best values I've seen this week is there is an 8-night trip, LA to Sydney and Cairns, and it is $27.99 with airfare from Los Angeles. It is good for travel between April 20th and June 1st. It's a little bit higher if you travel on the weekends, like $50 more. And at the end, I will drop the link down below this show. So you'll have to come back and find it. It will be on the YouTube channel, Weekly Travel Updates on YouTube. I'm really trying to get you to go over there. Please come join us, like us, follow us if you will, share it if you feel like it's valuable. Tonight, I wanted to tell you about a new 10% tax that's it takes effect March 1st in the Bahamas. I'm going to tell you about the volcano, a new volcano that exploded in Iceland this week, and it is headed towards the Blue Lagoon. If you've been to Iceland before, we don't want that destroyed. All right, and then I'm going to tell you about increased theft at airports. Things missing out of your luggage being late, like my luggage was late. It didn't arrive when I came home from California. And so I was thinking of all the things that were in there that could be possibly taken out. Down in the show, I'm going to give you 15 things that will help improve your chances of that person not being you who loses something out of their luggage. Okay, and the first week of the largest ship at sea sailing, and reviews are good. There was a short sailing for travel agents and for media people, but the first full passenger sailing has completed. And even with 20 decks and 6,800 travelers, who I did find out with full capacity can reach 7,600 passengers, if you have Rugrats with you. And in addition to that 7,600 passengers, there's still additional 2,300 crew members that are going to be added to that. That is a serious ship. But in talking to customers and travelers, they said we didn't find it feeling too full. There's so many spaces to spread out. There's all these neighborhoods, several pools, several whirlpool areas, lots of eateries. So the variety of what they have on board, I don't know. It would be hard pressed to find something like that on land at that price point, even though their price point is up 40%. 40% for Icon of the Seas. One poll that I read this week said, what did you feel like would happen if cruises continue to increase? And, Royal Caribbean has just kind of tested the ground, and they've decided people will pay it. That's what will happen. Icon of the Seas is full, and it is a much more expensive sailing than the other ships. Okay, I wanted to tell you a story about Nope, I'm going to go back and do the Bahamas first. So in the Bahamas, there is a 10% sales tax on anything now that you buy on a private island. Now, they've gotten by with it. For 30 years, they haven't charged us for anything purchased on private islands. But all kinds of people are protesting it, from merchants who are in town saying that it's not fair that they can go to the island and buy things without paying taxes, to vendors who are allowed to come out to the island to sell. And what they're going to do is they're going to put a 10% sales tax across the board. Anything that you purchase, if you rent that cabana, if you get your hair braided, if you buy t-shirts, all of it's going to carry a 10% tax. And if that weren't enough black eye this week for the Bahamas, then did you see the two girls who were from Kentucky who got off the ship in Freeport and they went to a popular excursion, is what we'll call it. I'm going to get full details and tell you exactly where next week, but I had mixed information and I didn't want to tell you something that I wasn't 100% sure of. So two girls took an excursion, young adult girls. They were both over 21, but very young. And they went for an excursion at a beach spot. So there are several spots in the Bahamas, particularly, that you can go and you can hang out at their pool and on their beach with food and beverages included. And that's what these girls did. Well, after just 2 drinks, they realized something was wrong. And they were sexually abused. And they're now back in Kentucky. But this is what makes me aggravated when you go out of the country. The police wanted them to go to the hospital to get tested so that they could prove by DNA who this was that had accosted them. And before they did it, somebody else scared them and said, but there's not a way to assure you that we'll get you back to your ship on time. Do you have your passports with you? Well, these girls were not traveling with passports. They were traveling only with the birth certificate. And with the birth certificate, you cannot fly back into the United States. So it put them in quite the quandary. And they decided just to go back to the ship. So very unofficially, somebody has been charged. 2 men have been charged, but I don't know how far it will go because the girls were fearful of missing their boat. And you can't blame them. It's one of the reasons that I truly, truly suggest that you don't go places, even if it's 2 girls. Look what happened with 2 girls. So if you get off that ship, go with more than a few of you, because obviously things are still happening. Gives another black eye to the Bahamas right now. Okay, then in another story, I've been talking about all these world cruises, and they are getting changed. One particular one, a trip was destined for a world cruise, and it was like 120 days, and they got a notice this week that said that they're not going to the Red Sea. We get that because of all of the issues that are going on there, but they're also not doing Japan and Asia, Bali, Thailand. Oh, they're skipping all of that. Then to kick it off, they're not doing the Mediterranean. So for a world cruise, there were some really, really upset people. And it'll be one of those stories you have to wait till next week to see what happens with that. But man, if you told me it's like another sailing that got changed, and it was a Norwegian sailing this week. It was billed as South America and Antarctica. And I have passengers going to Antarctica this fall. And you would think that Antarctica and South America, Antarctica is the bucket list place that you want to make sure you don't miss. Well, as the passengers were getting on board, they were advised that they're skipping Antarctica. Not because of anything the government's done or any rules assessed by the government or transportation authorities, but the cruise line has said that they can't get there and back in the time necessary, so they're just going to cancel it. If that was you and you were already in Buenos Aires getting ready to get on that sailing and you were told, oh, by the way, we're going to skip Antarctica, tell me what you'd think. I hope you have a good travel agent who would go to bat for you. As of today, no compensation has been provided. So we'll have to watch this story closely. Well, there was a lady this week. Her name is Denise Hammond. And she was on a world cruise and somehow took a tumble. She fell and broke a hip and broke her elbow. And the cruise line took her ashore to the closest medical facility in Indonesia. And after they dropped her there and she was assessed, they decided that they could not do the necessary surgery there at that hospital. And so now she's contacted her daughter who is here in the States, and the daughter's trying to coordinate things between the insurance company and the hospital and the doctors and where they want her to be. The hospital came back and told her that they were not prepared to do a hip surgery. And they highly suggested that she be transferred to Singapore. And in Singapore, there's great doctors, all kinds of medical things. So now she's 3 days from the fall, and she's at one hospital, and the insurance company is not telling them that they'll pay $40,000 to be airlifted from Indonesia to Singapore. Wow, that is an expensive medical evac. The lady has travel insurance. She has medical evacuation, but I don't know what the holdup is, but there is an issue with it. So one of those things that you really do have to be careful in traveling, that you have the right kind of coverage and it's going to cover you for things that you're going to need. 120 days on a world cruise. Whew, I hope she has really, really good insurance. Okay. I wanted to share with you what is going on with thefts in our luggage. I've traveled, and when I got home, I found a little slip in my luggage that said that Customs and Border had opened my suitcase and had gone through it. And they stick this little note in to let you know that. Well, what's happening more and more are thieves are getting caught, and they are taking things out of our luggage. So, probably the easiest way to combat this are the TSA locks. It's a lock that only TSA can open. And that's the first thing that TSA suggests. There's zippers that cannot be poked through. They can't be penetrated that way. That's another thing that they suggest. They suggest having a tag on it where you can locate where your luggage is at all times. Because sometimes if you're running late or running through a tight connection, you could be on one flight and your luggage could be on another flight. So a GPS tracker. One thing that they suggested that I found a little strange was they suggested hard-sided luggage. They said hard-sided luggage doesn't leave room for, can I unzip this and grab this out of this bag quickly? It usually has just one continuous zipper. And if it's a TSA locked piece of luggage, then you should be good to go with that one. Another is the tamper-proof it's an intersection inside of luggage, and you can zip it and lock it. The key is most of the time they're going to want to do something quick. So to have your bag packed completely full, don't leave it gapping. It's easy then for them to unzip it, feel around inside, see if they can find anything, electronics or jewelry, or that's the kind of things that they're looking for. But to have the tamper-resistant inner lining is another option. And if you did nothing but put all of your, like when I take jewelry, I have a jewelry pack, and then I put it inside of another bag. If they felt around and felt just that jewelry pack, that might be easy because it's silk on the outside. But by having it inside of something else, inside of another bag, you wouldn't just feel around and just feel jewelry. So it makes it one more layer of protection before they can get to your stuff. Document what is in your luggage. Do you know it's really too late after your luggage has been tampered with, and for you to go through and say, I'm missing this and this and this and this. What insurance companies are suggesting is that you take a picture. Like when you have all your clothes laid out on your bed, just make a picture before you start packing it. Or pack and make a picture, pack and make a picture so that you can verify what's in your luggage. It sounds silly, but that's what it's come to. I frequently tell my customers to do this with electronics. Lay out your iPad and your phone and your chargers and your Kindle and any accessories. Lay all that out on a table and make a picture of it, because if you lose any of it, the only way to prove that you had it before the trip was if we've got a picture of it. So document what's in there, make a list. If you have got something very expensive in there, you can get extra insurance for it. I'll never forget, one of my cousins went with me on a trip years ago, and her boyfriend's cowboy boots got taken out of the luggage. I know he had them in Mexico, and I don't know if they were there when we got back, but he said they were not. And so we filed a claim with the airlines, and I would think it's pretty close to the same, but the maximum payout was $200. And he was really upset because they were $450 cowboy boots. So just to say, there is extra coverage available if you're taking something that would be a travesty if it got gone. Another thing to do is, if you are traveling with somebody else, is to divide your valuables between 2 suitcases, so that if one suitcase goes missing, or if something out of it goes missing, maybe only one has theft and the other would not. We make copies, and I carry a copy, and whoever is my roommate, they carry a copy of all of our travel documents. And the biggest suggestion is not to check anything that is valuable. I carry my jewelry in my backpack with me, my medicine with me, my makeup with me. The electronics, all of my electronics are usually with me. I don't send them in my luggage anymore. So I hope that those are a few things that you could pick up on. Some other things that they suggested were the wrapping services. Have you been to the airports, mainly big airports, where they set your luggage down on this circular thing, and as it goes around, it's getting wrapped with clear plastic. Yes, it gives you another layer of protection. And yes, anything that would make that thieving person go to the next piece of luggage instead of yours would be a deterrent. One of the things that was mentioned was not having flashy, blingy luggage tags. If you have a flashy, blingy luggage tag, they may wonder, "Ooh, what else in this bag is flashy and blingy?" Oh, and that you update your personal contact information frequently, because I don't know about you, when I left for this trip, I had old tags on my bag. Always take those off, because if the scanner picks up an old barcode tag, your luggage could be going somewhere you're not going on this trip. So rip all of those off before you head to the airport. So only the trip you're traveling on now is the tag that's on your bag. And last thing, do a triple check, just like a pilot goes around and checks over his airplane to make sure that everything is there. Go around your bag, make sure everything is zipped up tightly. Make sure there's no straps that are hanging off that might get caught in a conveyor. Make sure that everything is zipped completely, because if it gets caught along the way and contents of your bag spills, that is a time where things get missing. I can't think of anything else. I think we have covered it. Please drop me a note. Let me know if the Australia-New Zealand trip, or not New Zealand, Australia, sounds interesting to you. I'll put the link down here. It is with one of the vendors we use frequently. So they're going to use Air New Zealand or Qantas, and it will be the flight out of LA with 4 nights in Sydney, 4 nights in Cairns, and $2,800. That's a deal. All right, guys. I thank you for checking me out today, and let us know how we can serve you. Um, Whitney Carroll is here for you. I have not been out of the house very much since I broke my foot. I am trying to keep it up because it's got to be healed so that I can go to Alaska July 2nd to the 13th. Oh, and Princess is running this deal where we're getting $300 off. So if Alaska has been on your bucket list and you would like to go with us on the trip of a lifetime with our adventures on private excursions, then reach out to me this week. We have the space only until the 14th. Got 2 more days. Okay, guys, thanks so much. It was great to see you. Let me know. Uh-oh, Kathy said, I don't like the background of your live show. I know, but I couldn't fix it. Oh, and my foot is, I still have the boot on. They'll go back and x-ray it again, I think this week. I think so. Anyway, ciao, guys. Oh, it's going to be Valentine's Day. Tell somebody that you love them. I love you. And remember, without a travel agent, you're on your own. Ciao.